The opinions expressed on this TV program by the hosts, guests, and callers are solely their opinions and responsibility. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.
Well, good night, folks. Good night, and welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real. Today is really time for action. June the 30th, Tuesday, 2020. And I'm telling you tonight, folks, it is packed with action. Of course, you know, always keep it real right here with you. And we start the show off with the usual shout outs. And first off tonight, what I will say is a special good night to all the fans. First off tonight, all the fans on Sky FM 93.1. That's right, folks, 93.1 Sky FM, where all the radio fans are listening to the show. I'd also like to start off with the action all over St. Lucia. Today somebody came up to me and said, hey, you haven't mentioned LeClery. I said, okay, so special good night to LeClery. Thank you so much for joining as usual. Bizet, Rock Hall, Marsha. So special shout out to the fans in Marsha. I'd like to say thank you for joining us again here tonight. Independence City. You know, I'm trying to do a few things here. And you know how it goes online and live. So there's a lot of things that have to get lined up. And sometimes when the internet is a little slow, it just makes everything, you know, a pain in the you-know-what. But anyway, we have viewers, and I got a special message today from Chicago. I'll be tuned in. Okay. Good night to those of you out there in Bagatelle, in Sans Souci. Ancillary, Market Street. Special good night to you. I know you're watching. Ancillary, some of the biggest fans of the show are in Ancillary. So, special good night to you. Bonte, Cap Estate. We have fans all over the place, folks. So, I just want to make sure that everybody's happy, because I get these irate fans of the show. Hello from Mont Fortune. I see you there too, and I'm trying to do some things. Just have some patience with me, folks, because it's well worth the wait. You know, it's well worth the wait. I'm bombarded. And somebody all the way in New York City says the volume is low. Waiting, not hearing anything. That's somebody a little south of us. So I don't know what's going on, but something's going on, folks. Something's going on. Let's get that sorted out. I'm looking at the multitude of messages that I'm getting there already. I don't know. Am I speaking loud enough? Do I need to keep things lubricated here? Okay, so we're going to roll. Turn up the volume on your device, on your phone, on your tablet, on whatever it is, and we'll get things going. You all ready for me inside there? Shout out to Saltibus. Okay, Saltibus, shout out to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, Moshi is in the house. So, you know, folks, let's get it rolling. Good night to Karen and everybody else, and I left it in the drawer. I'm being bombarded with messages here, and something's going on. Nobody wants to give me a break. Let me see what's going on here. Everybody wants to be in on the action. And here you go. Right. Thank you so much. Let's keep it real. Okay, New York City and all over the place. Tonight I want to start off, folks, and talk to you about Sandals. Not the kind you wear, but the hotel. And we've heard so much lately. There's a laundry list of lies and bluff and fluff that has been coming out from, well, not parts unknown, but the other side of the divide. I don't know what's going on, but some people seem to believe that the more you repeat the lies, somehow magically they're going to become real. So I'm sure you've all heard it. Cabot, the Shocklands, Sandals, Ojo Labs. Eh bien, on swear, nous kay parler. We're going to talk tonight. So, remember all the talk about $24 million given away of our money to Sandals? You've heard that, haven't you? You've been wondering what's going on. Documents nila kosa oswea. Documents. Some boy, friend of mine I know, we used to shout him out and say, documents! Figure out what that means. But you know, there we go. There we go. Folks, you know hotels and other developments, investors in St. Lucia. Everybody in St. Lucia knows. They get some type of concession to get business into St. Lucia. It could be smaller business, it could be a hotel, it could be a manufacturing company, it could be a call center, you name it. St. Lucia is competing with other countries in the world and other islands in the region. And the fact is that St. Lucia is not, and the Caribbean islands are not, the only countries that give incentives. New York City gives incentives for businesses to set up shop within the city. Did you know that? And New York City's annual budget, so billions of dollars, nothing. Saint-Lucie passe à toucher sa pièce. But they still give incentives. So you have New York City competing with Newark, New Jersey, with Trenton, New Jersey, with Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, with Houston, Texas, because each state is vying for business. The more business you have in your state, the more employment you have. It means less stress, less pressure on the services that the city, the state, has to provide to its residents. Même bagay la pour Saint-Lucie. Same thing for St. Lucia, same thing for St. Vincent, same thing for Barbados, everything. So how do you entice businesses to come to your neck of the woods to set up shop? You give them incentives. Isn't that logical? You give them incentives. So St. Lucia offers incentives from time immemorial to hotels. And, you know, among those incentives are duty-free concessions on vehicles which may be used for the hotel, or furniture, or electronics, or light fittings, and all sorts of things. But they also give concessions on withholding tax. But now, I know yours, you know, right here, I break it down so the average man can understand. Somebody says the volume is low. Is that on cable or is it on the internet? Telling me the volume is low doesn't say anything to me. Where is it low? Now, withholding tax. So let me explain to you. If you do some work for the government, or if you're a contractor or whatever, and you give the government a bill on the internet, if you give the government a bill for $1,000, they take out 10%. Somebody in Canada says, no volume on the internet. Check the internet. TV volume is good, internet is low. So you got to check your streaming machine. So you give the government a fee, it's low on the internet again, somebody else. You give the government a bill for $1,000. When you tell you, go to the treasury and pick up your check, and they say, we've been telling you this for weeks on the internet. Wanger! Don't make me come inside there. Okay? You get a check when you get to the treasury for $900. 10% is taken off. That is called withholding tax, in anticipation of the taxes you will pay. So the government holds back 10%. So if the hotel has to pay for services, or they have to pay for anything outside of St. Lucia, 10% is withheld from that for the government. That's taxes. That's money that is owed to the government. If it's a local service, it's 10%. If it's a foreign service or a foreign contractor, it's 25%. Now, I want to explain something to you folks. I want to explain something to you. Sandals in St. Lucia has 3 properties. You ready for me? Let's see Sandals' properties there. Sandals has Sandals Latoc. They have Sandals Halcyon. And they also have Sandals Grand, or Sandals for the Spanish speakers out there, Sandals Grande. Right? Now, when you have large properties like that, or you have a business, you take out insurance on your property. Or something could happen to a member of staff, or the building burned down, or something goes wrong, electrical problems, and you need to be able to recover. So the company takes out, Sandals takes out insurance. But because Sandals is such a large company, Sandals has 3 properties in St. Lucia. I hope I'm not going too fast for you. I want you to understand this very well. Sandals has properties in St. Lucia. They have properties in other islands, in Jamaica and elsewhere. So, paying for insurance makes more sense if it's all under umbrella company. Sandals International or whatever it is. Sandals Umbrella, let's just call it that. So that main company is responsible for Sandals St. Lucia, Sandals Jamaica, Sandals Kilot Kote Yoye. Right? Because it's cheaper. You know, like wholesale. If you have one person paying for insurance, the premiums will cost more than if you have 10,000 people as a group going to that same insurance company. Same principle with Sandals and companies with multiple locations. So, that payment outside of St. Lucia is a payment from Sandals to the parent company, which pays their insurance. Usually, those payments would require withholding tax, or the withholding tax to be withheld for the government. But here's the difference. They have a concession which grants them or allows them to not collect that on behalf of the government. But it's not only Sandals. It's almost every other hotel receives that concession, among other things. So let's go back in time a little bit. Sandals concession, if you want to call it a contract. 1992 to 2001. Now remember, all hotels basically receive the withholding tax concession. 1992 to 2001 was the first period that Sandals had that concession. The concessions were up for renewal in 2001. 2001 to 2009, Sandals and the government of St. Lucia signed a concession agreement. In 2009, it was renewed again. But for some reason, listen well, folks, listen well. For some reason, the concessions which are normally given to hotels and which Sandals expected were not included in the concession agreement for 2001-2009. Right? Hope you understand that. So it was given in 1992 to 2001 period. It was given in the 2009 agreement going forward, but for some strange reason, it was left out. Typographical error, whatever it was left out. Again, I have to reiterate that generally, hotels are given that concession. So, in filing of papers or for whatever reason, it was discovered at the Inland Revenue Department that the withholding tax for the payments, which was something like about $8 million for the period of time, 2001 to 2009, had not been paid by Sandals. And Sandals said, well, hey, how come this wasn't in there? We didn't notice it wasn't there. We expected the renewal of the agreement with concessions to be the same. So, late payment fees and interest brought it up to $24 million. Okay? Hope you understand that so far. I'm going nice and slow. The previous administration of the SLP did nothing about it. They did not rectify. They didn't insist on collecting. They did nothing of the sort. It was a back and forth because Sandals appealed. And everybody has a right that if charges are levied against you, that you can appeal. You can say, hey, just like you go to the supermarket or you get your bill from Lucia and you expect every month your bill is $50, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, 250. What's going on? Lucilec, zot ka vole mwen, ki sa ka fet la? That's not what I'm accustomed to paying. So when Sandals is contacted by the Inland Revenue Department and say, hey, you owe us how many million of dollars? The volume is better now. What y'all did? You did something. How come we owe that? We have a concession. And lo and behold, the concession for the withholding tax is not there. So Sandals is saying, but we expected it to be renewed. That's generally what we have. That's generally what you give to hotels. The first term of the agreement, we got the concession. The term after it, we got the concession. So why is there the discrepancy? Obviously, it's a mistake. Typographical error, an omission, whatever it was, on somebody's part, and neither of us noticed. So we'd like to appeal because we expected. So that was going back and forth. Sandals asked the government to waive it, and it was back and forth to Inland Revenue, blah, blah, blah. But there is what is referred to in legal circles, ma pièce avocat, but I'm not any worse than the ASPs out there. Well, you know there's a famous ASP. He's not a policeman. He's an avocat sans papier. But I did a little thing, you know, by police bagay. My connect anti bagay. My top deck me. You know, I could get by. And it was an OECS Court of Appeal ruling which said that, in essence, it was a case in Antigua, that the withholding tax is not a subject in the concessions. It was a similar case with Sandals, and in essence, the OECS Court of Appeal ruled that they did not have to pay. So Sandals cited that as a reason to support that if generally the concession is given, why you want to penalize us? You should write that off. And the SLP was playing ping pong with that. And this government came into office. and Sandals brought the issue up with them, and the government and the cabinet of ministers, in examining the situation and looking at the general practice in St. Lucia, decided that it would be fair to waive or to dismiss the charges against Sandals for $24 million. It was never collected. St. Lucia never had the money. It's usually given. And that, my friends, is what the issue is all about. Right now, Sandals has that concession. But you know, not to be outdone, and it's always the case. The SLP makes a big hoopla about something, and then the simplest investigation reveals that they either did the same or worse. Well, not necessarily worse, but they have nothing, no shoulder to lean on, nothing to put on the government. So here, 2 years before elections, dès l'année avant élection, in 2014, remember Smuggler's Cove, folks? Remember Smuggler's Cove? They were managed by a company called Premium Hotel Investors Limited. Now, hear what the cabinet of ministers in 2014 under Dr. Kenny Anthony and Philip J. Pierre, Alva Baptiste Ekyotut. Hear what they gave. Hear what they gave smugglers. You know, this is the irony, this is the hypocrisy, this is the lack of credibility, this is the betis that we are constantly assaulted with in St. Lucia by the SLP. You know, the theme of my show last week was what? You remember? Mako Joie. When they're in the game, they cannot win. Yo pasage, sapat, dusbal, ankoyo. Bad economy, unemployment, VAT, tout bagay. But all of a sudden now, they out of the dominoes. Yo there, Zepolo. Hey, gasa, jouer katsa. You don't know what you're talking. Shaste do this. Shaste do that. What you doing? So here, folks, is what the SLP gave smugglers. Written off. Write it off, man. Forget about that, man. 100% waiver on outstanding. Hear that there? Outstanding. What they didn't pay. On outstanding hotel accommodation tax. Now, let me explain for you. You all know I like to keep it real with you all. Ma joke zé, but I keep it real with you. Pa joke zé, Now, hotel accommodation tax is every visitor you have at the hotel pays a certain fee per night. So $5, $10, whatever it is. So, tout moun ki te vini la, and the hotel was supposed to be collecting the head tax. You see when they say head, amun, tet, amun. Each head, you collect a tax every night. And you have to pay that to the government. The SLP government in 2014, in a cabinet conclusion in May 2014, gave them 100% waiver of that. Okay. They gave 100% waiver of outstanding vendor's tax. So when they sold the property, the vendor's tax that you would have to pay, they gave them 100% waiver on that. Now listen to the big one. Listen to the big kahuna. They gave 100% waiver on PAYE. Not withholding tax, PAYE. Those of you who've heard pay as you earn. So the employees are required to pay taxes. And when you get your paycheck, you see deductions, PAYE. That's supposed to go to the government. That's your taxes. Because at the end of the year, your sheet comes back. It says gross pay, deductions, and that's your taxes and whatever else other deductions you have. So the taxes were not paid to the government. The government waived that. But hold on. Say you want to conduct some big business transaction or some land thing or whatever. Or you want to get a loan. You go to the bank or whatever and you have to provide income tax clearance. Don't you all know what I'm talking about? And the Inland Revenue Department says, but you haven't paid your taxes. You're expecting that your taxes were paid. In fact, the people who had problems, did they have problems back then? When they had to file their taxes? That Inland Revenue is saying that, hey, you owe. But hold on. The last one I'm saving for you. 100% waiver. Listen well. Listen. 100% waiver by the SLP administration under Dr. Kenny Anthony and his trusty deputy. Let's adjourn the house so I could go home and get the letter showing that I was appointed Deputy Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre. 100% waiver of outstanding withholding tax. Oh my gosh. OMG. Isn't that the same thing that the SLP is making a big deal about with sandals? No, let me read that. Let me make sure. Get the flush ready for me. Let me make sure. Don't blow up my ears, okay? Let me make sure. 100% waiver of outstanding hotel accommodation tax. 100% waiver of outstanding vendors tax. 100% waiver of outstanding PAYE. L'argent yo t'étais supposé payer pour les travailleurs. Yo pas payé. And the government saying, that's okay, man. Don't pay it. Forget about it. And the last one, to make sure I can read it right. 100% waiver. 100% waiver. Qui m'a dit waiver en patois? Huh? 100% waiver of outstanding withholding tax. But the 24 million with sandals that they have on their list of lies is the same withholding tax. Memba gaila. You see the hypocrisy? You have hypocrites? We're ready for the hypocrites. Let them have it. Give it to them. I'll flush that nonsense away. Flush it. Flush it again. Only now rain start coming. Need more water. Flush. Flush that garbage away. Liars, bluffers. You should be ashamed. Listen to this, Whilst they gave this, the appeal from Sandals against the charges was there, This was in 2014 when they gave all of this to smugglers. And Sandals had their appeal before the same government, SLP. So you buy smugglers avant. They passed that one down the road. And now the Alan Chastanet administration waived the same withholding taxes for Sandals, the same withholding taxes that the SLP waived for smugglers. Mais SLP a fait des ordres après ça. Oh, come on! Jean Saint-Lycien, il n'y a pas là. Jean Saint-Lycien, c'est Bouic SLP. You can ride Saint-Lycien. Est-ce que Kakakal Baski en tête les sent lycéens SLP? That's what I want to know. I mean, this is amazing. This is amazing. But I'm going to leave you with that for now and let you think of the hypocrisy, the fluff, and the bluff of the SLP. We'll take our first break, and I'll be right back.
Avoid the congestion and traffic associated with Castries City and Rodney Bay shopping and come to Gablewoods Mall. We have everything you'd possibly want, from a sprawling supermarket to a complete furniture store, from your choice of elegant boutiques to professional photography, dry cleaning, a hardware store, medical facilities, drugstores, hair and beauty salons, an eyewear center, and so much more. We truly do have it all, along with a food court which provides sumptuous meals and free Wi-Fi while you dine. Parking is plentiful and shopping times most convenient. Come to Gablewoods Mall. We're the mall that started it all.
The Bryce water tanks are of top quality and highly durable.
It's a monolithic tank, meaning it's just one unit, which makes it stronger than the other tanks, which comes in two pieces. It also carries a Health Guard lining, which is FDA approved.
Bryce and Company, build for living, build for life.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, nestled within Coco Palm, a boutique hotel in the heart of entertainment capital Rodney Bay, offers a truly unique experience with the best food, drinks, and music. Open 7 a.m. to 12 midnight daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Tibanan specializes in authentic French Caribbean cuisine, delectable tropical cocktails, and the best live entertainment on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tibanan also offers catering for weddings, special occasions, and conferences. For reservations, call 456-2800 or email reservations@coco-resorts.com. Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, where passion meets quality.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro is now open for takeaway and delivery only. Place your orders by calling 456-2866 or 724-9309 or email orders@coco-resorts.com. Takeaway orders to be collected at hotel reception area and delivery fees vary on your location.
Well, welcome back, folks. Oh, y'all sneaking up on me. Somebody sent me a message during the break, and they said that the SLP has no moral authority to dictate anything to the UWP government. And somebody used my line, which is coming up next, messaged me and says that SLP always makes a mess of things, and then the UWP has to come and fix it. But that's this next round now, folks, because we're going to be talking about what? CIP. CIP. Because you know, of course, the CIP has its whipping boy on the SLP side. Now, before you all start with that boy thing, you know, whipping boy has a particular expression. But I'm twisting it a little bit tonight, so don't go running there and tell me, hey, that's not what it means, and you use it wrong. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real here. I give things my meaning here. And you know what it is, right? Somebody sent me a message. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. Good night to Saltibus. Saltibus is in the house. Choiseul, Labrie, Miku, Choiseul. Choiseul again. Hey, I see that I see that message. So, you know, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of accusations. Again, in the list of lies, the laundry list of lies. What happened to the CIP money? What happened to the CIP money, man? What Shasne doing if the money? Where the money? There's no accounting for the money, and they're down the government's throat. You know, the SLP subscribes to a principle which you all are, of course, very well aware of by now. It's what I call the 3B's principle. Bullshit baffles brains. And they love to repeat. They have absolutely no intention to accept any evidence, any facts, any information. You will tell them, you will explain, Usajik hele amwe. You will shout, you will scream until you hoarse, you can't speak anymore. You got laryngitis. They'll pretend like they didn't hear. They'll pretend like you said you spoke Greek. Now, there's been the constant call of account for the money in CIP, account for the money in CIP, account for the money in CIP. What are they doing if the money? Blah, blah, blah. Folks, the monies or the projects that the monies were spent on have been declared year after year in the estimates of expenditure. They have been. In fact, I showed you only about 3 or 4 episodes ago exactly what was in the estimates of expenditure, what had been available to the SLP, but yet still they continue. Where the CIP money? What projects it going to? You all said this, you all said that. You ready with those photos with the 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8? Give me the first one that I showed a few weeks ago. Under CIP, the funds allocations to different projects. Having some problems there, man? You got it? There we go. There we go. Let's go to the next one. We're not spending much time. I'm showing you what's there. There we go, folks. Land acquisition, new national hospital, the funds that's going to that, it gives you the agency head, the project number. So you can go in the estimates of expenditure and find it there, SLP. Next one. So you can't say I fabricated. Look at there, agency head column, right? Project number, capital projects. You see it? The amount, the approved budget 2017-2018, the actual amount. Next one, show it to them. You see that? There we go. We have one more. Drop the next one. You see? All of that is there in the estimates of expenditure, but the SLP will pretend like they never seen it, they don't see, they don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my God, people are dying. So, you know, they constantly cry about the money is not deposited in the economic fund. Oh, we were hearing that last year. We were hearing that the year before. We were hearing it. Oh, you have to comply with the legislation, the CIP regulations, and blah, 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 blah. Well, I have to tell you, folks, that in truth and in fact, there was a requirement for the formation of an economic fund under the CIP regulations. But let's go to CIP page number 17 of the regulations. Now zoom in on that there so we can see on the big screen TVs. Now this is the legislation as it was created, and you see I have a highlight. Okay, oh Befla. See, it was created, this is the legislation created for CIP under the Kenny, hold it right there, hold it there, by the Kenny Anthony administration. Now, highlighted, St. Lucia National Economic Fund, 33.1. The St. Lucia National Economic Fund is established. Bruh! 2. Qualifying investments of cash shall be paid into the St. Lucia National Economic Fund. 3. The Minister of Finance shall lay before Parliament every financial year for its approval the purposes to which the funds will be allocated. But as I informed you a while ago, the monies were deposited in the consolidated fund. My goodness, Alan Chasney is going contrary to the law and his whole team of cabinet ministers. What are they doing? But you know, as I explained before, folks, put that legislation up again there, that page there. Number 1 says, the St. Lucia National Economic Fund is established. Okay. Where? How? Who's authorized to sign? How are decisions made for the use or allocation of those funds? How does somebody apply, or the government apply, or whatever entity applies to get money out of the fund? Nada. So this government now, as usual, has to come around and come along and clean up after the SLP. Let's go now to the economic fund that was straightened out by this government. Look at this there. Part 1. There is established a special fund to be known as the St. Lucia National Economic Fund. Next, 4.1. No, not that page, not yet. The functions of the fund are, you see where you see the difference? To advance loans for a government-approved capital project, or B, to provide investment for a government-approved capital project. Loans or to provide investment. Government capital project is putting monies into roads or buildings or infrastructure, railways. Next page. All of that is the economic fund there. Remember, let's go back again to the first one that I showed under the previous administration. This is all that the SLP put on the books for the National Economic Fund. This is everything. That's all. That's it. Kit and caboodle to control the use, to control the transparency, to control the accountability that they're all talking about. This is what governs that accountability and transparency. Now let's go back to the Alan Chasney administration way of doing things the right way. To consider and approve an application, go back to the previous page there. The one before this. Before that. You're getting ahead of me there. Right. Functions of the fund. 1A, B. Let's go to C. Or the next one. To reduce government debt. So, monies can be taken from the economic fund. Puis c'est Munsi, l'argent CIP qui là comment? To purchase government bonds. To provide monies for the purpose approved by cabinet that is not considered recurrent. So like for rent, for electricity bills. Ou pasa servi l'argent pour ça. Monies of the fund. You see all the details that are there? They had nothing of the sort under SLP, but they call in to say, why you don't put the money in the economic fund? Because there was nothing controlling the use of the economic fund. Hold on there. Monies for the fund. The monies of the fund consist of qualifying investments of cash too. So it tells you what type of money can come in and go into the fund. Right? Right. Monies of the fund must be deposited to the credit of the fund in a financial institution approved by the minister. In the previous SLP thing, there was no such instruction. Nothing of the sort. St. Lucia National Economic Fund Board. How is the fund governed? Who sits down? Who has authority to control the use of the economic fund? How funds go out? How monies come in? The board consists of no less than 5 members and no more than 7 members to be appointed by cabinet as follows. A, the director of finance, who is the chairperson. B, the budget director. C, the chief economist. D, a representative from Invest St. Lucia. E, a representative from the ministry responsible for commerce. F, a representative from the Attorney General's chambers. G, a representative from the private sector. Doesn't that seem logical? Doesn't it seem like some proper structure with reputable people, well respected in their field, well established, lots of experience, lots of credibility, lots of accountability, lots of transparency? But that is what the SLP was crying for, and they never had it there. They never had it there. So what are they crying? In essence, they're shouting at themselves. They're exposing themselves. They expose themselves. Bring it back up. 3, cabinet shall appoint 1 member of the board to be the deputy chairperson. 4, the board shall, A, manage the monies and business of the fund. Next page. Consider and approve an application for a loan or an investment in a government-approved capital project. C, ensure that a loan is used for the purpose for which it was granted. Sounds like accountability to me. D, ensure the repayment of a loan at the time it is due. E, ensure that the proceeds of the loan are applied to the government-approved capital project so you don't use the money for something else. Now listen to this under CIP, that you cannot use the money for something else. But the SLP wants to insist and tell the government, break the lockbox, which is the security for the airport loan, and use the money for something else. You see what's happening there? So the government in giving loans has these same conditions. But the SLP wants the government to forget that, man. To forget the lockbox which is there for the airport funds. Tiela man. Tiesa man. You see? You see how it comes around to show you exactly how ludicrous these assertions and demands of the Makojoa SLP are? Makojoa, that's all they are. Dusbal Sapat. That's what you all got on June 6, 2016. Bring it back up again. Let's keep going. Establish and maintain a sinking fund, that's F, to be administered and applied as the board determines. And G, do all things necessary or incidental to the effective performance of the functions of the fund. Next page. Anu. Any more pages? Yes. Financial year of the fund. Did you see anything of that in the original document? Can you pull up the original document that the SLP had for the CIP economic fund? Millie, that's it. That is it. 3 defining factors. That's it. No details, no accountability, no credibility, no transparency, nada. Go back to the other one. Me Alan Chasnila. And tell me if there's no accountability and no credibility and no transparency in this. Financial year of the fund. What period constitutes a year? How do you define it? Is it a budget year? Is it a financial year? Is it a calendar year? How do you define a year? Because you have to submit reports. The financial year of the fund begins on the 1st day of April and ends on the 31st day of March in each year, or as otherwise determined by the minister by order published in the Gazette. So even if the minister wants to change it, it has to go in the Gazette. Inipo ale Gazette la. Transparency again. Do not fall for the nonsense. All of that transparency talk and accountability talk is all that it is talk, blah, 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 bat flappers, yo. Budget and plan of action of the fund. More accountability and transparency there, because the people on the board and the people involved are going to be guided by instructions. So you can say, hey, you didn't do this right, but when you give me that 3-line thing, the SLP put into action, how are you holding anybody accountable to that? Huh? How are you holding? Bring it up again. How are you holding anybody accountable to this? What's the financial year for that? How do you report? How is the board constituted? How do you go about giving loans? For what projects does money come out of the economic fund to be used? In the interest of whom? How do you report it? Let's go back. There it is, man. Budget and plan of action. The board shall no later than the 31st day of October in each year cause to be prepared and shall adopt and submit to the minister for the fund in respect of the next financial year. A, what you're going to submit in October? A budget, and that is the board that has to do that. All these people from the Attorney General's chambers, Director of Finance, blah, blah, blah. They have to submit for the next financial year a budget with the estimates of its income and expenditure. So you say last year we had 200, 1,085, whatever it is, CIP. We believe we've done a lot of marketing and we see that the interest in St. Lucia, we expect to get 2,000. It's a budget. It's estimates of expenditure, just like the budget. It may be more, it may be less because it's not money you've received yet. B, a plan of action. What are you going to do? Are you going to advertise? You're going to advertise in the Middle East? You're going to advertise in the North Pole? You're going to put an office there? Blah, blah, blah. Next page. Auditors Report. An independent auditor appointed under Section 17 shall not no later than 3 months after the end of the financial year, which is 3 months after the end of the 31st of March, submit a copy of the audited financial statement of the fund, that's the economic fund, and the report on the financial statement to the board. Sounds like accountability, sounds like transparency to me, folks. I didn't see anything like that from what the SLP 3 lines of regulation required. Nothing was required. Annual report 19.1. No later than 3 months after the end of each financial year, the board shall submit to the minister an annual report on the monies and business of the fund for that financial year, and the minister shall, not later than 3 months after the submission of the annual report, lay the report in Parliament. Sounds like accountability to me. Sounds like transparency to me. 2, an annual report under Section 1 must. Now it says what the report has to include. You can't just give a report on 1 page and expect that's sufficient. This tells you in the regulations, in the law, what you're supposed to provide in that report. Sounds like accountability and transparency to me. A, include 1, the number of applications made, granted and refused under sections 12 and 13. Next page. 2, the names, addresses, and nationalities of persons whose application were granted or refused. 3, the amount and other details of the loan or investment for other information as the minister considers appropriate. B, be accompanied by the auditor's report under section 18. May say, me reporting? Me report, did you see anything about submitting reports under the economic fund, which was specified under CIP by the St. Lucia Labour Party? No. Esuwe, Ugade Uwe, come back to me there. Esuwe. Pasa yoka decently, see? Pawe anye. You know what the SLP was telling you there with that thing there? Bele lesh, man. Economic fund. Who was going to administer that? How would there be any controls under that? But these people have the audacity and the nerve to say, when we get back in office, we'll review all CIP passports and see. Well, give me a break. And don't you have any shame? I mean, the gall to even suggest any corruption with that. When what you left was open, it was like a strainer. It was open and ripe for all type of circumventing and tutkalte, lache macaque. All kinds of monkey business because there was no proper control, no proper transparency, no proper accountability. Say it and so. Bring that up again. Let's keep going. Let me show you all what accountability and transparency looks like. That's it? No, on the new regulations. That was the last page? Not yet. Yeah, there we go. Next page. That's it. Okay. There's quite a lot of other information. But you know what, folks? You can get that on the CIP website. All of those regulations are there as they progressed. What this government did to fix, to make more secure, to make more accountable, to make more transparent for the people of St. Lucia, the operations of CIP. But yet still, you have Ernest Hilaire, Dr. Ernest Hilaire from the opposition, St. Lucia Labour Party, Philip J. Pierre, leader of the opposition, and all of them, including Dr. Kenny Anthony, under whose stewardship that CIP, whatever, was put in, and they have the audacity to challenge and accuse the government of lack of transparency as far as CIP is concerned. Messieurs! Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back, folks.
Avoid the congestion and traffic associated with Castries City and Rodney Bay shopping and come to Gablewoods Mall. We have everything you'd possibly want, from a sprawling supermarket to a complete furniture store, from your choice of elegant boutiques to professional photography, dry cleaning, a hardware store, medical facilities, drugstores, hair and beauty salons, an eyewear center, and so much more. We truly do have it all, along with a food court which provides sumptuous meals and free Wi-Fi while you dine. Parking is plentiful and shopping times most convenient. Come to Gablewoods Mall. We're the mall that started it all.
The Bryce water tanks are of top quality and highly durable.
It's a monolithic tank, meaning it's just one unit, which makes it stronger than the other tanks, which comes in two pieces. It also carries a health guard lining, which is FDA approved.
Bryce and Company, build for living, build for life.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, nestled within Coco Palm, a boutique hotel in the heart of entertainment capital Rodney Bay, offers a truly unique experience with the best food, drinks, and music. Open 7 a.m. to 12 midnight daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Tibanan specializes in authentic French Caribbean cuisine, delectable tropical cocktails, and the best live entertainment on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tibanan also offers catering for weddings, special occasions, and conferences. For reservations, call 456-2800 or email reservations@coco-resorts.com. Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, where passion meets quality.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro is now open for takeaway and delivery only. Place your orders by calling 456-2866 or 724-9309 or email orders@coco-resorts.com. Takeaway orders to be collected at hotel reception area and delivery fees vary on your location.
welcome back, folks. That was quick. I know some of you are running. I'm going to give you a few seconds before we get into the next bit of action. Tonight we're on for 3 hours, guys, so brace yourself. Why you not smiling in there, man? Fellas vex, you know. 3 hours tonight. So, got your seats back, got your popcorn, got your juice, your teddy bear, whatever you're using. Sit back and relax. But, you know, I have something I want to read here to you. The audacity. You know, after all what I just went through there, Dr. Kenny Anthony, I mean, the gall. I mean, this is the constant nonsense that we keep hearing. Everything to undo what the government is doing. When we get back in office, we will re-examine every CIP passport given. Writing letters to the British and saying that they do not think that Guy Mayers should be St. Lucia's High Commissioner to the UK. Well, of course, the British didn't pay any attention to that nonsense. And everything calling investors crooked and all sorts of things, all sorts of negative things. Anyone, any agency, any positive information about the government, any supportive information with regard to the government's policies, any agency, the statistics department puts out information favorable to the government as far as unemployment is concerned. Rah! It's not done properly. World Bank, IMF give out favorable reports on St. Lucia. Not good enough. Government give them bad information. The government hoodwinked the World Bank or they hoodwinked the IMF. The same financial people in the Ministry of Finance put together information in the budget and all, doubting them. Something's wrong. They could not have gotten those numbers right. The government has no transparency, no accountability. But when we do the proper examination, we see where the no accountability and no transparency really was under the SLP. I just gave you the classic example right there. The classic example. But still not giving up. You pakalaje, man. We will not let you govern. Dr. Kenny Anthony yesterday in a publication, Loop, SLU. Listen to what he says. I mean, the audacity of it. All the amendments, and I'm quoting here because it's quoted there, all the amendments to the CIP Act, Citizens by Investment Program Act, will have to be repealed. And as the leader of the opposition rightly stated, a new act will have to be enacted once a policy decision is taken to retain that program. We have to go back to the drawing board. Flush that for me, please. I'm not even going to characterize that. Flush it again. I mean, are you serious? I mean, are these guys really serious? But I'm moving on. The next whipping boy on the list of lies is DSH. Oh, and they love the people who can't think straight are drinking the red Kool-Aid. Glug, 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 glug. This is not Kool-Aid. They're drinking the red Kool-Aid, man. My gosh! Now, let me explain something here for you folks. Under CIP, there are two ways in which you can gain your citizenship. One, by a donation of 100,000 US dollars, and that money will be deposited in the economic fund. The other way in which you can gain citizenship is by investing in an approved real estate project. Now, what is an approved real estate project as defined under CIP? Because it's a CIP approved project, and there are guidelines as to what an approved project is. A high-end hotel, you know, like a Hyatt, it must have a minimum of 70 rooms or whatever. Must be a 4 or 5-star hotel. Must be a well-known brand. Somebody sent me a message and said, tell Craig Adams to reveal his true identity. They know who you are already, Craig. They know who you are. So, an investor says, you know what? I want to build a hotel in St. Lucia. It's a, you know, for whatever reason. It's a Hyatt or a Monkey Moon, whatever. I'm just making up names. I want to build that hotel in St. Lucia, but I want to do it under CIP. He has this project, and investors now, or individuals, want to invest in that project, in an approved real estate project, and as a result of that investment, they can receive St. Lucia citizenship. Right? Now, what other way can you? Well, COVID came along, and St. Lucia needs to raise funds. Nothing wrong with that. Everywhere else is doing it. That's the whole idea of CIP, to raise monies for the country. So just passed, not too long ago, was a 5-year bond that you would have to pay $250,000 into, and it does not mature until 5 years. 0% interest. 0% interest. But you see, folks, some people say, but you see, again, insulting people's intelligence. But he gave you 250,000 and you give him back 250,000, so he get a passport for free. That's not true. Because that money now invested or used to pay off for other bonds or other instruments gains interest. And over the 5 years would gain $100,000. So that is similar to making a donation of $100,000. Easy, so like magic. So even though we give you back the money, we still got the use of the money to generate income. You make the money work for you, you give it back to him, but you have 100,000. And that's how he gets the citizenship. Make sense to you? So if you give somebody, if somebody gives you a loan of $1 million, and you say, okay, I'll give you a room at my house or whatever, let's, you know. At the end of 5 years, you give them back the $1 million. But whilst you had the $1 million, you open a business, you open a restaurant, you open a mini hotel, you open a supermarket. That money is working for you and you're getting profit interest on it, aren't you? So at the end of the 5 years, when you give that guy back his $5 million, you've actually had that money working, making something for you. That's what the genius of the Alan Chasney administration is doing. Don't tell me the financial guru, Dr. Kenny Anthony, can't figure that one out. I mean, if he was prime minister for so many years, of course he can't figure it out. because he supervised one of the most unique and disastrous financial periods for St. Lucia, when there was no COVID, when there was no 9/11, when there was no big major anything happening in St. Lucia. You have that interview, drop it.
Something happened that made the situation different, and it is the first time St. Lucia has experienced this. This time around, we could not borrow to finance the deficit. That is the crux of last year, and this is where the crux of the problem is. We wanted to issue bonds of $266.5 million, but we actually were able to raise only $45.5 million.
That's a significant difference.
In other words, we were not able to raise $221 million. Likewise, we wanted to raise short-term loans of $38.9 million, but we were only able to raise $29.3 million. Again, a shortfall of $9.6 million. So what has happened here is that we cannot turn to borrowing to fix up our deficit because banks, individuals, and institutions who used to lend before are no longer lending governments. They're insisting that they will lend you if you get your financial house in order. And in our case, getting our financial house in order means that we have to bring down that fiscal deficit from where it is at 5.8% below 4%. That's the key.
So how can this man give Alan Chasney any financial advice? How? The man is admitting there that he, under his stewardship, St. Lucia's financial house was not in order. That's what the financial and lending institutions said to him. Pam Mwekidi, I didn't say it. Dr. Kenny Anthony said it, and I am going to do just like them. Every time I come on the show, ekyo pa lay about se baisa na mutre mem video. He's saying there that he was unable to get the financial situation under control. It was under him. Bagaite mal, ite telma mal, ite female. Flush it. That's what you have to do to that kind of thing. Flush it. La pandlo. Hey. I mean, can you believe that, folks? Can you believe that? And when you compare the performance of the economy of St. Lucia under Alan Chasney, when you look at the IMF report issued in November last year, is there any doubt? Is there any doubt that the better financial management always seems to be under the United Workers' Party? The evidence is there. You can jump high, you can roll, you can say what, you can come with all your fluff and bluff, you can misguide. You can make all the noise you want on social media, you can distract, you can put out all your propaganda. It will not change the facts. And the St. Lucian people are onto you all. So DSH money for racetrack and this, that, the Royal St. Lucia Turf Club. Not CIP. It's the investors' money. And you all can jump high and say it as often as you want. Provide the evidence. I dare you. I challenge you all tonight. Provide the evidence. Because there is none. Absolutely zero evidence to suggest any of the claims you are making against DSH at this time. And what do we have here? One of the ways in which you can get a passport, an approved real estate project. So, DSH is a number of projects. It's not just one big thing. Hotels, entertainment, theaters, racetrack. And of course, right next to the DSH racetrack is what? Lucerne University. Lucerne. Folks, do your homework. Google it. Find out what it is. culinary, hospitality, university, the best in the world. Best in the world. Right here in St. Lucia. And what's going to happen? Instead of going all the way to Switzerland, going to have students from the Caribbean, from South America. That's Lucerne headquarters in Switzerland. That's it right there. But you know, it's a university hospital, and I want to read to you because I know there are people who will challenge and say, what's that? Marco Pansa University Hospital, Kisasaye. So put up the page with the definition of what that is. Scroll up a little bit for me. Right? Zoom in, zoom. Adamun pa bien well lay sway. Zoom in and go to the top for them to understand. I don't want to say it. I want them to see it. Center, Gatey. That's the top line there? Okay. Universities are regularly pulling in visitors for big games, graduations, and symposiums. Then there's this, you sure that's the top line? Is that the top line? Okay, let's have it. Let's have the top line. Okay. Then there's the steady flow of prospective students that come to tour and families that need a place to stay when visiting their children, because Lucerne University is going to have foreign students, lots of foreign students. But it's going to be in the location, guess what, folks? In the DSH development area, the racetrack. People are going to be coming around and they're going to do what? See the Lucerne University, and it's going to generate business. But let me let you read. Often, there's a shortage of accommodation nearby. So to help fill the gap, universities, listen well, universities have started building their own hotels. We're on the cutting edge, folks. That reminds me of ITEL BPO, which is opening up soon. How many hundred in view for tomorrow or Thursday? Given their size and the academic and athletic events generated by many institutions, there are real opportunities for colleges and universities to build hotels on campus, says Matthew Doe, Senior Vice President at JLL. We're finding this approach can make a lot of sense when planning vision and market fundamentals align. At the California State University in Northridge in Los Angeles, visitors will be able to check into their hotel room, step outside, and be on campus. A planned 100 blah, 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 blah. Google it for yourself, folks. What is a university hotel? Just put in university hotel. You'll get all the information. But I want to move on a little bit. Yeah. A week or so ago, folks, something happened. Not like Dr. Kenny Anthony, not that kind of happening. Something happened. We're going until 10:30 tonight, so don't worry. Something happened. And what happened was a photo was posted on the Prime Minister's page, Alan Chastney. Oh, I didn't give you that photo. And that photo, I'm sure all of you have seen it already, was a photo of a basketball team from the 80s. And in that photo was, or is, Prime Minister Alan Chastney and the other members of the basketball team. Oh my goodness, Alan Chastney can never be right. He can never do good. He cannot say a thing without inviting the ire of the St. Lucia Labour Party and its detractors and its hackalacks and the satellites. Oh no, how dare you, Alan Chastney, to think you're going to get by? You, captain of basketball team? Not if we have anything to do about it. You are not captain of the basketball team. The vultures are circling, ready to pounce, man. Well, to swoop. Ready to swoop. So, of course, a particular talk show host wanted to get in on the action. Oh, he has nothing good to say about Alan Chastney. Oh, no. Absolutely nothing. But you see, again, folks, you all know I have a problem with the way how a lot of the reporting is done in St. Lucia. Lack of follow-up, lack of corroboration, lack of verifying, lack of getting concrete evidence and information to present to the people of St. Lucia, lack of accurate data to present, a lot of supposition, a lot of I think or I saw or I believe. I continue saying, and you too can educate yourself. Get into journalism. Those of you out there who are interested and are so discouraged by the nonsense you see passing in this country for journalism. The Reuters handbook on journalism. Get it. It's downloadable. It's online and it's free. It's the Bible for journalism. But I don't know. It seems some people not reading or whatever. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. So let's hear now. Now, it's a few minutes. I don't know how much of it you will be able to stomach. But I promise you that it's very interesting. It's very revealing. And what I say to you about corroborating your evidence, the information that you want to put out there, jump into conclusions, or trying to make the lack of evidence fit your bias and prejudice. So let's hear what went down. Roll it.
Let's go now to the photos of Chastney as saying that he was the captain of the national basketball team. Let's show that first photo. So in this first photo, United Workers' Party Senator, can you spot the Prime Minister Chastney? Back in the day, he was the captain of the national basketball team. You see? So there it is. And boy, doesn't that make him look cool. And he was always this great leader and all the rest of that. And then show that, I want to show that it's not just United PAC that's putting that up, but he himself, his own new page, the Cambridge strategic thing where they come up with a new page for him. Notice how they've ducked him out of PR for the last 3-4 weeks.
Pause that right there.
Trying to
Alan Chastney's new page on Facebook. Folks, Alan Chastney has no new page on Facebook. How they've kept him away from interviews for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Baloney. Baloney. The press has had access to Prime Minister Chastney outside the house. But other than that, there's been limited face-to-face interviews with the press. Why? Can you guess? Can you imagine? Can you speculate? Maybe COVID? Maybe all what's happening in the world today has seen more Zoom meetings so that you don't have your pre-cabinet press briefing? Could it be that? You call it a new page. How did you come to that conclusion? Because if you go to Alan Chastney's Facebook page, the posts go back for years. How is that a new page? Piso we airport we nef. You see a new photo for his profile pic, and that's a new page. I mean, where's the observant? I mean, how did you come to that conclusion? I mean, the Prime Minister is looking very swag in that new photo. You know, a car way on one side or something. Damn! Prime Minister Alan Chastney. I mean, where else have you seen such a hip Prime Minister? The youth love him. I mean, what thing did he do the other day? He was in what he said, a mention, and they went crazy. Kuya, Mama. I mean, who's connecting? There's nothing. It's nothing forced. It's nothing. You know, it's natural. Not like some people who are trying to play leader and it's like everything is, hey, it don't look natural. You're forcing it. A leader is natural. C'est pour ça Chastney ka chwe yo kan mo. Chastney passe au lion, tout moun ka fou. Chaste passe Anslawe, tout moun ka fou. Good night, Anslawe Market Street. That's my peoples, you know. My peoples in people of Ancillary are nice. They're good. Ancillary is keeping it real town. That's what it is. I now pronounce Ancillary no longer a village. It's a town. Let's keep it real. Well, the type of stuff that's coming up down there from their rep, Dominic Fede, Ancillary is going to be a town. I'm telling you. Be proud, people. Be proud. Buy kafet. Buy kai fet. Buy kai continue fet. And don't let anybody fool you. Nothing happening in Ancillary. They lie. Continue.
They're trying to reintroduce him. So whatever he was doing in terms of press conferences and all of that has stopped. But he himself, you can see, is putting up himself as being the captain of St. Lucia's national basketball team. Something saying that he was captain. Shasney may have captained teams because there were a number of teams in those days, 8, 9 teams that used to play against each other. But the specific team that is there, he did not captain. But all of that said, the fact of the matter is that it's amazing that there are people who are alive and can see and know to demote him. So we'll play striker
pause
now,
that there.
Right?
There are people who are alive and know and can see and can demote him. Continue.
To demote him. So we'll play striker now, right? Letting you all see and hear that at the end of the day, it's just another lie.
I was president of then the CABA, which is the Castle Amateur Basketball Association. Our basketball is played in the gardens, which I still consider the mecca of basketball. That is why I think the best basketballers that Lucia ever had came from. In that era, I was between when I came from school in 77 till about 86, 87. I mean, there were a number of good teams. My team was All Blacks, there was Bollocks, there was BSADC, there was 42nd Street Rudies, there was NSBW, Useless No Black and Whites. And there probably was one or two which I don't remember of the batch. In 1985, we went to the OECS basketball competition in Antigua. Kenneth Riddler King, the late, was the coach. And I was the manager and striker. The team consisted of 10 players. And by name for you, it was Ricky Eswick who was the captain. There was Alan Shasney, there was Marcus Alcindor, there was Tommy Reno, and there was perhaps Bernard Duplessis, who we called Sir Ivan. And there was Golem Colimo, there was Regis. There was Wiggy Santoma, and there was another youngster called Terry Gibson. I think that was, and there was Beck. I knew him as Beck. He was from San Francisco. He got shot by the police somewhere around the Printry area. That was the 10. And in my opinion, that was the best team that we ever had. But I must insist that at the time, they were good players. But like I said, the captain of the team at the time was Ricky Eswick. In fact, we lost that entire competition by 5 points. It was a very, very good team. Alan Shasney was never the captain. He was never the captain. Ricky Eswick was the captain. And the players I called, you could call all of them, they will tell you exactly what I said.
And with regard to him, sometimes they say that he may have captained specific games. That did not happen either?
Specific games? With specific games. Even a tournament, an OCS tournament. I think we played how many games? Another 5 or 6 games. He was the captain for the entire tournament was Ricky Skeki Eswick.
Now, did that talk show host get any other corroborating evidence? Did he do any research? Did he? How, because it doesn't matter who it is, you still have to corroborate. Sometimes people say things for particular reasons, sometimes they don't forget. But in this instance, I do notice, you see, that's when you keep it real. I'm honest I'm honest with my analysis of the paralysis with all people, whether it's whoever and whether it's in this case this guy. And I do notice clearly that striker mentioned specifically 1985 and that tournament. Nowhere on Alan Chasney's page did it indicate any year. C'est après ça qu'on parle by avocat. Là où vous voulez parler en l'audience. That's where the facts and the fine details come into play. You don't have to be a lawyer to figure that out, you know. You have to be astute. You have to be observant. You have to be fair. But of course, you had to get others on the bandwagon, and you should have seen them on Facebook. Oh my gosh. Chasney lie. He never play. Blah, blah. And this, that. But what makes it even worse, what compounds the situation, is that this goes even higher up the food chain. It goes higher up the food chain to our House of Assembly, House of Parliament, where a sitting MP, without any credible evidence, because I know there is no credible evidence to substantiate what he said, goes and makes this statement. Honestly.
The many blatant lies.
Hold on.
Let's
come back to me there. Go back to the start of that. During the budget debate last week, in an attempt to portray the Prime Minister as being anything but truthful, Ernest Hille, MP for Castries South, launched this attack and referred specifically to Prime Minister Alan Chasney being captain of St. Lucia's OECS basketball team. Listen well. Roll.
The many blatant lies he has told this nation over the last 4 years. Too many for me to listen. It will take my entire hour. And the last one over the last few days is that he was captain of the St. Lucia basketball team. Really? Really? And he says, yeah. He was captain of the St. Lucia basketball team. No basketballer can ever remember. Like the guy said, he used to pay to be on the team and buy uniform for the whole team so they can put him on the team. That's how he ended up playing basketball for St. Lucia.
Pause that right there. Pause that right there. I can say that I don't know, and I don't have evidence for or against Prime Minister Alan Chasney, his parents, his uncle, his nenen, his parents, buying anything for the team, uniforms or whatever. But folks, St. Lucia is not a rich country. Our sportsmen aren't rich. They always scrunting for shoes, uniforms, balls, bats, gear. And I'm sure many of you out there know, maybe even your own parents who donated. How many of you have bought t-shirts, have bought shorts, have bought boots for a football team in your constituency, in your district, in your village, whatever? So if Alan Chasney's father or his family or anybody did that, that makes him a bad person? That makes him trying to buy himself on the team? But if he was on the team and I see him there, even if he wasn't captain, he was on the team. So that means he had some skill, of course. Huh? He had some skill. He had a lot of skill for him to make it to the team. So he wasn't buying his way onto the team. Because that is what Dr. Ernest Hille said. Roll back a little bit and play it again.
That's how he ended up playing basketball for St. Lucia. That's how he ended up playing basketball for St. Lucia. He can't get a pick. So his father would buy uniform for the whole team and help pay the effort to go overseas so they can give him a pick. And today he claims he was captain of the St. Lucia basketball team.
A member of parliament in the House making that statement. So what he leaves to question is his own credibility. because he didn't present any evidence to suggest that or to prove it. Speculation. And earlier, I said Striker said 1985, he did say so, and then he continued to say he was never captain of the team. So in wanting to set the record straight, yours truly right here, did his own investigations, of course. You know, I have to keep it real and present to you the evidence. The voice of St. Lucia, Saturday, October the 18th, 1986, front page. Let them see the date. There it is. Hold on there, hold on. Saturday, October the 18th, 1986, $1. Okay? Zoom out a little bit, let them see that page. Because I don't want anybody to think there's any kind of monkey business going on here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's go to the next page. Go up to the top again. In fact, just go to the top. You have a little piece of, the date is on the left. Okay. All the corroborating evidence for the page. Geothermal project awaits equipment. Let's go down. Book Salon was a legitimate bookshop in St. Lucia at the time. Dame Eugenia Charles of Dominica saying she didn't want any nuclear-powered vessels in the region. Come down. No, scroll down, scroll down. There's a picture right there I want people to see. And zoom in on that. Flood in Castries, Jeremy Street. Look at the right side. You see, this is looking east towards Chaussee Road. On your left, where the people are going up there, is Darling Road. Behind you is Jeremy Street, going towards Customs. On the right there, the CDC block that was torn down. And on the left, where all those chicken vans and the Corinth bus stand is or whatever, that's the other CDC that was taken down. Let's go to the next page. Let's go to the top of the page. We have the date. Zoom out for them to see. Is there anything there? Hey, that's right. That's right. Zoom in. I want them to see the top of the page, please. I want them to see the top of the page. That's right. The Weekend Voice, Saturday, October the 6th, the 18th, 1986. Now zoom out. Let's see the bottom. Let them see the whole page. No monkey business. Scroll down. She says, B-ball team wins 3, lose 2 in Grenada. Next page. That's the story right there. Next page. There we go. Zoom in. It's there. Basketball team wins 3, lose 2 in Grenada. Let's read together with me. The national basketball team is back from Grenada, where they finished 3rd in the annual OECS tournament. The team was led by who? Captain Alan Chasney, manager player Alan Francis, and coach Kenneth King. Leave it up there for them to read again. Let that sink into your brains. Let that sink into your brains. In fact, scroll down a little bit. Can you scroll down that page? Those of you who remember. Zeta's pools. Those of you who used to play pools long time. How many St. Lucians want some? You gain nanat pon. Asa. There you go. All right, let's go back up to the story. Just scroll up a little. Leave that on there. I want to read it again because some people may have a little bit of difficulty reading. The tears in their eyes, that's proving them wrong. The tears may be clouding their vision. Basketball team wins 3 games, lose 2 in Grenada. The national basketball team is back home from Grenada, where they finished 3rd in the annual OECS tournament. The team was led by Captain Alan Chasney. Well, darn it. Okay, that's it, Dave. Wow! Wow! At that time, Alan Chasney didn't have any deal with The Voice to project, to write a story that, 86, 14 and 20, 34 years later, he would stand in a photo and say that he was captain of the team. I mean, seriously? I will. Those of you who are sending me a message that you want that clip of the newspaper, I will make it available on the Keeping It Real page on Facebook immediately after the show. Or I will send it out to you via WhatsApp, those of you who have that and that connection with me. Here's it, folks. What can I say? As always, I promise you that I will bring you updates from the South. And I have one other thing. In fact, you know what? Before we go to the last break and we take your calls, you can keep the audio off on that video, right? The one that you're going to show. Sometimes you have to laugh at yourself, and some people try to make fun of you, and they believe that it's going to get to you. And budget time and the number of days that the House went late sometimes, very often, takes its toll on everybody involved, on the opposition and on the government side. The MPs in there, Ikabatio, your last. The speaker, the police officers, tout moun ka last. But somebody thought they would take the mickey out of me, and I heard it, and they had some sound effects, and I laughed at myself, and I, y'all know me already. You know, if I saw somebody else in that situation, I'd catch a laugh too. And I got calls from New York. Stop laughing inside there. Stop laughing inside there. From the time I came in this evening, this guy laughing. I said, boy, I saw a video of you. Yeah, I laughed too, okay? Control yourself, man. Control yourself. Turn on the mic so they can hear you laughing inside there. Because I see this guy going into some convulsions there, laughing inside of there. Put up the video. Don't leave it up too long, okay? I can only take so much. Look at me at the back there. Mem botai laosal. But they put the St. Lucian, effect on it there. Look at that. Gasa. Almost alone there. Kila, it was about 2 in the morning. It was late. Whatever. Guys, God this. Okay, that's enough. Take it off. That's it. Stop laughing. We see it all over the world. We see it in St. Lucia too. Stay focused inside there, guys. Even though we're tired, we continue to work hard. And that's that day. Right away, I recovered. Yes, let's go. You all had your laugh now? You had your laugh? I had my laugh already, so you can laugh now. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. You all were laughing at me, I know. You're all's well in fun. You laugh at somebody in a situation like that. Yeah, it's okay. That's all right. I can take my laugh. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back. No more laughing.
Avoid the congestion and traffic associated with Castries City and Rodney Bay shopping and come to Gablewoods Mall. We have everything you'd possibly want, from a sprawling supermarket to a complete furniture store, from your choice of elegant boutiques to professional photography, dry cleaning, a hardware store, medical facilities, drugstores, hair and beauty salons, an eyewear center, and so much more. We truly do have it all, along with a food court which provides sumptuous meals and free Wi-Fi while you dine. Parking is plentiful and shopping times most convenient. Come to Gablewoods Mall. We're the mall that started it all.
The Bryce water tanks are of top quality and highly durable.
It's a monolithic tank, meaning it's just one unit, which makes it stronger than the other tanks, which comes in 2 pieces. It also carries a health guide lining which is FDA approved.
Price and Company, build for living, build for life.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, nestled within Coco Palm, a boutique hotel in the heart of entertainment capital Rodney Bay, offers a truly unique experience with the best food, drinks, and music. Open 7 a.m. to 12 midnight daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Tibanan specializes in authentic French Caribbean cuisine, delectable tropical cocktails, and the best live entertainment on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tibanan also offers catering for weddings, special occasions, and conferences. For reservations, call 456-2800 or email reservations@coco-resorts.com. Tibanan Caribbean Bistro and Bar, where passion meets quality.
Tibanan Caribbean Bistro is now open for takeaway and delivery only. Place your orders by calling 456-2866 or 724-9309 or email orders@coco-resorts.com. Takeaway orders to be collected at hotel reception area and delivery fees vary on your location.
And welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back from the break. The security. Yes. So 450 0777 450-0777. And if you give us a call with your comments, yeah. So, est-ce ça quoi rien? C'est book ça la ka dizot. Rien, anything. Can you ever believe these guys? If they tell you walk, run like hell, run! Run! They talk about credibility, they have none. They have none. Si yo di ou marché, koui. Ek pa just koui, hein? Planté banan tie kou la. We have a call? Oh, okay, setting it up. Okay. Somebody says they fell asleep there. They were tired. You know, I mean, seriously, we have a call. Good night, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Good night, you're on the air. Hello?
Getting the show late, man. I come in late.
You came in late. Okay,
yes,
so
yes,
make up for lost time. Let's go.
Yeah, the piece I saw was, you talk about is the captaincy of the Prime Minister.
Right, it was the St. Lucia OECS basketball team in 1986.
Man, let me tell you, I think you keeping it real as a talk show host, I think you come in too late on air. Because, you know, listening to the minister, no, not the minister, the MP for Spicero, you know, these fellas just Cashew South. These fellas like to fill the nation with lies and deceit, man. Man, if you did not put that out, you know, I would believe the MP.
Well,
my brother, you see the work you're doing. Keep on doing that work, man, because it has been proven that you see the members from the opposition, these fellas has been feeding the public with lies, and they have the counterpart that is doing the same thing, you know, feeding the public with lies. You know, making it as if the man cannot be captain of the team, and the man come and talk about his father by uniform and pay the man away, and when you put that thing
Caller, boy, I tell you, Caller, this is so pathetic, it's so disappointing. You know, the level that some people will stoop to, totally unsubstantiated, to make these type of allegations.
It's a shame on them, man. Yes. I mean, And them man want to come and talk about Black Lives Matter. But they will go all out to destroy a human being. A human being. A solution like themselves, you know. A solution like themselves. They will go all out in the name of politics. Claiming to love the nation. One more thing before I leave.
Yeah.
One more thing before I leave.
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard the news about a fence that they put on the beach, you know.
Yeah.
And some people have a lot of problem with that. I heard even Dr. King comes and talk about as if he's not too pleased. But what is the reason for placing the fence?
Caller, you know, I thought about addressing this tonight, and it's so unfortunate, it's so ridiculous that I just decided, you know what, I'm going to keep it real and not even bother with that foolishness. Because everybody understands, even if they didn't before, the logic, the reason behind this. We know about the global pandemic. We know about the precautions that have to be taken. We know about the people who are in that quarantine facility there. And you know, caller, I'm not even going to get into it. Thank you very much for calling. Thanks for calling. I think that's your first time calling the show. Appreciate it. Please call again.
Okay, no problem, man. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for keeping it real. You know, can somebody be the victim of their family's success or their father's success? Good night. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Let's make it quick.
Okay. What are you going to say is this here. Can you actually Philip Japier and Unasile? They never been in the gardens. They never been in the gardens in their life. Okay? Shas was one of the boys every day in the gardens. Okay? They all sports in the gardens. All right? And another thing. God, they can miss the channel. Rushing me, miss the channel.
Let's go, caller. Let's go. We have a few minutes.
Those guys are good spin bowlers, and West Indies could deal with them. West Indies could use them. Okay? They're like Abdul Qadir and Shane Warne. If you can back like Baila or Bill Richards or Tenuka, those guys will clean balls in a jiffy.
Okay, and thank you very much, caller.
Striker should be
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Striker should be ashamed of himself.
Well, you know, sometimes people forget some things, you know. All right, thank you very much. Okay, there we go. You know, folks, give me a call. Tell me what you think about this. The other issues tonight, if you want to address that. As soon as the show is done, I'm going to put because I've gotten lots of requests for that clip from The Voice of St. Lucia, October the 18th. Good night, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, good night, sir.
Good night.
There's one thing I observe.
Yes.
It appears to me that those guys is out to perish us, you know, and they try in their utmost best, because that reminds me of Philip Japier. St. Lucia was prepared for COVID.
Yeah.
Chasney was never in that meeting, and they showing the photo of that meeting where Chasney is sitting right there, and he said Chasney was never there. It appears to me that
that's
those
right.
guys,
that's right, caller.
Yeah, it appears to me that those guys are digging their own pit. Look, he lay. Then I see right there watching the program, and he's saying that Chasney was never the captain.
And he's saying that with such conviction.
The father that was buying his space for him on the side, paying for all kind of, and the man he's talking with a rage. I don't know, power hungry.
In glee, not rage. A glee is like my expose.
Yeah. But I don't understand that. Those guys are digging their own pit.
30 seconds, caller.
They just keep on lying. And they have people that support these guys with these lies.
I don't know. But you know what? They'll come with some, you know, when you bust them like that, they come from another angle. They switch it. They say, well, he played, but they give him a chance. He wasn't really the captain. Wait for that one. Wait for that one.
That's absurd, man. That is unbelievable with those
Okay,
guys.
thank you very much, caller. We got to take another call. Thanks for calling. Thanks for keeping it real. We have another one? Okay, waiting. Let's switch it over. Good night. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, sir.
And these guys could really stoop low, you know.
Say that again, caller. I can't hear you too clearly.
These guys could really stoop low.
Well.
Listen, you mean to me, the man is a St. Lucian. These SLP guys are running after people, you know. Day and day they are running after supporters. Okay? The guys are St. Lucian. And they're not doing their research. They want to talk about sports. On the UWP side, ask them how many sportsmen are there on that UWP team.
Caller, it's just very pathetic. It's just, and the thing is that time and time again, the evidence comes out, and I promise that I will continue exposing the lies, the bluffs, and all the nonsense.
You see, there's one thing I want to know, and I would like Philip J. Pierre to tell me as a St. Lucian, and I will never vote for him until he can tell me that Grindberg is an issue, a big issue for me, and I need an answer. He was there. He was the deputy, as he said. I need to know as a layman, as a St. Lucian. I want answers on that.
Caller, let me tell you.
I can never vote for these people.
During the vote of no confidence last year, Philip J. Pierre and all the rest on the opposition challenged the members on the government side to vote your conscience, that if you were there, if you do not speak out against it, you're just as culpable as the charges, the alligators they were making.
Yeah.
Well, if you, Philip J. Pierre, were there when all of those things were happening, and all the rest who were there with you, all of you are responsible likewise.
Yes, exactly. And
well, 10 seconds, caller.
Yes. Ask them to examine their conscience, the whole story behind you, Fali.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you very much, caller. Thanks for keeping it real. Yes. Okay, so as promised always, if you want to make a call, come on in. But we're going to roll the photos from today, St. Jude's Hospital. Let's get some aerial shots of the hospital. There you go, folks. I need to say not too much more. The supports are coming out, and you can see the pillars and the walls and the ceiling, roof and everything taking shape. It's beginning to look like a building now. All the bamboo supports for the poured concrete at the top is going away. It's expected that this first phase should be done by the end of July. End of July, folks. There you go. We have two more to go. There we go. Look at that. There we go. Finishing up right before your eyes. Nothing by surprise. There we go, folks. That's it. And that is it. We have anything else for the people? Okay, that's it, folks. We have one more call. No, can we do an extra hour? Oh, we have one more call? Yeah, we have one more call. Final call for the night. Good night. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good evening, Norbert.
Yes, good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Oh, you made it through the last one. I recognize the voice.
I've been trying to get through. Very good program once again.
Thank you very much.
I have to compliment you on the enlightenment that you bring to the media. I mean, some of our media houses are so low in the level of reporting and the information that is given that your show is one that is set above the rest of what is happening. There are a couple areas I need to touch on quickly, Norbert. One of them is the level of desperation by the Labour Party. I mean, why would you attack so many attacks on the Prime Minister prior to his entry into the leadership of the United Workers' Party when he was just vying to be the leader? He's in government, and grown men would lie about things that make absolutely no sense. Now, Norbert, this is not lack of information. This is not misinformation. This is deliberate and calculated lying by the members of the opposition. And Hilaire is a prime example of what was said. You remember when Dr. Anthony said that people should not give their fingerprints and whatever,
Right.
and then the explanation was that he misspoke? He was in the parliament again, making a statement that in this day and age, you are not building police stations and courthouses together. You know, while I was sitting right there in the parliament, you know the number of people who sent messages.
Yep.
A simple click of the phone button would show you
Quick
how
Google
many
search.
places in the world where police
That is
stations
right.
and courthouses are being built together.
I mean, and the thing is that these people have traveled, you know, in almost every town, almost every city in the U.S. Down Main Street, you have downtown, what they call downtown. You have the mayor's office, you have the courts, you have the police station, right? I mean, just Google, folks. Courthouse and police station, and you get it.
You see, people in St. Lucia need to understand what is involved there. It says a lot more about what they think of the people that they are speaking to. That is the level of ignorance that they attribute to the people of St. Lucia. So we can tell them lies. We can say anything, they will believe us.
Right.
And that is the core problem. I mean, you didn't touch on it. It is a very sad day in the history of St. Lucia that a person like Dr. King, and I'm telling you this, every time I speak about people who have a name and have some level of prominence in this country, some people choose to castigate me and say, oh, I like to attack people. How can Dr. King, a former chief medical officer in St. Lucia, how could he not know the reason why there was a fence there, that there was a need for the closure of the quarantine facility? So you really want me to believe that Dr. King, of all persons, did not know that? Now, I have to ask you, Norbert, is it a situation where because the present chief medical officer in dealing with this COVID situation has done such a remarkable job that maybe every other chief medical officer before her
is in the
have
shade.
been put in the shade? I mean, how can it be that a doctor, a pathologist, somebody who's involved in the operations of a hospital would make such reckless and
I
careless
dare say,
statements?
I dare say, knew very well that the quarantine facility was right there. Absolutely certain that he knew.
Involved from the inception. They have been consulted, they've been engaged.
That
the
is right.
doctors have been involved in the processes of what is happening. It's not a one-man show in the Ministry of Health. So how can these people, but you see, politics causes some people to behave very stupid, and reason goes out the window.
Yep.
The good sense goes out the window. And then they begin. You remember there's another doctor, I warned you all. I warned St. Lucia and I said, this man is a politician. He was president of the Medical and Dental Association.
Yes.
What is he now? Vying to run a seat?
Yeah.
So you have to watch these people's behavior. The final point I want to touch on
is
this issue of the withholding tax. Now, Norbert, you talk about the withholding tax. That's a standard thing. But when a cabinet of ministers, and I would like you on the next show to possibly get the list of all the ministers who are present in the cabinet, and PAYE, pay as you earn. This is not the company's money. These are taxes deducted from individuals to be paid on their behalf to the government as the tax contribution to St. Lucia. A cabinet of ministers sit and they waive these taxes, and they have enough guts to come to the Parliament of St. Lucia and to talk about things that people are legitimately entitled to. I mean, where do you get these things happening? This Labour Party is sick to the core. They are desperate. And if they will stoop solo to attack the Prime Minister on being the captain, and I heard a caller say, there are many sports persons, men and women, on the team of the United Workers' Party. I mean, you can think of Minister Montoot, Minister Estefan. You'd think of Minister Ezekiel Joseph, who was a class footballer in his time. You have Dominic Fede, a cricketer. You have Herman Gill Francis. I mean, you have Fortuna Belrose, who used to play, I think it was netball. You look at it, nobody had the politics in mind when they were involved in these things. There were people who were interested in sporting activities at the time. So, we need...
You want to try to deny them that what their passion was way back then because of politics now.
Exactly. So St. Lucians need to wake up. And I need to ask the people of St. Lucia, how many lies must these fellas say in the Parliament? How many times must they be proven that they are lying? I mean, look at the thing with the CIP and the level of accountability that is there. Look at the outline in the budget as to how the money is spent. How many times does a man have to lie? The final one.
Yes.
We are the worst prepared. And then Philip JPS said that the PM was not in Barbados at the meeting, when the PM was the initiator of the meeting. And rather than learning from the mistakes, okay, if you do it once, it's a mistake.
No shame,
but
no shame.
Consistently, they continue to make up stories about Prime Minister Alan Shasney. But I tell you, the Prime Minister is very focused. All what they are doing is to get him to stop focusing on the job that is at hand. St. Lucia is in the best hands that it could be at this point in time, in the hands of a Prime Minister who's a real person. He is not a fake. He is not a make-believe. He is not a wannabe. He is the real Alan Shasney. And I believe that, of course, he makes mistakes. That is what it is to be human. To be human is to make mistakes. He will make mistakes. There are times, but I always tell them, his heart is in the right place. It's not about power. It's about working for the people of St. Lucia. Thank you, Norbert.
Thank you very much. That was Honorable Guy Joseph, Parliamentary Representative for Castries Southeast. And that has taken us to the end of tonight's episode of Keeping It Real. And tell you folks, it was really real tonight. And if you missed it, if you got in late, you can catch it again on Sunday at 4 p.m. or on Facebook, social media, on the Keeping It Real Facebook page, or right here on Hot 7 TV. So, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for spending your night watching, learning, understanding the issues that I bring to you every Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I'm Norbert Williams. See you next week. Good night.
The opinions expressed on this TV program by the hosts, guests, and callers are solely their opinions and responsibility. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.
Hot 7 TV is the rising star of television in Sydney.